Hello and welcome back to the context part of building a space elevator again. Let's get started. Alright, so if you do enjoy watching the context piece after the time lapse and you're still here, make sure to leave a comment down below and just let me know. So I'll continue to make these context pieces right after the time lapses. If not, maybe I'll do it after a few videos and then provide the context for you guys. But let me know and we'll figure it out from there. So this time around, we didn't do too much. We fixed our solar panel system right over here. So decided to go without the O2 farms or oxygen farms because it's unnecessary because we are on the planet Earth or Earth-like planet. And vents with depressurization will do a lot better to collect oxygen. And while we're collecting oxygen, it's not for the house. Obviously, it's actually going to be for our space elevator because we're going to have some oxygen in that elevator when we go into space. So that's why we're collecting that. But I developed this instead, which is 2 O2 tanks, oxygen tanks, with a ton of vents. So we have a total of 5 vents. One on each side here and one on top. And they're all on depressurized. So we can collect oxygen for these tanks at 100%. And then from there, we needed a lot more cargo space. So here's our cargo space. Created 6 more large cargo containers and a bunch of hydrogen or hydrogen tanks. So I'm trying to style it a little bit with the rounded ones. It didn't look too great, but it's good enough. But unfortunately, it ate all the ice that we had. And actually nothing in the tanks. And I'll explain why in a second. But yeah, we have no ice left in here. We have no hydrogen in the tanks at all. So all became kind of pointless. Why we lost all the hydrogen and ice? This thing right here. This is our H2 generator or hydrogen engine, which pretty much sucked up all the ice that we had in here, which wasn't much at all. Probably like 10k worth of ice, roughly, which isn't a lot. And that way we could power all these refineries to refine everything that we needed. We did run out of power with these things on with the yield mods, and plus my welding rig is actually recharging along with that little miner right there. So it takes up a lot of power in this whole entire base. I should really put up another battery system or battery tower or put more batteries, I should say. I did start putting them in here, which you didn't really see in the time lapse. So I might line up a few more right over here, but they're all kind of like losing its power. But right now it's charging okay because we're not doing too much except for recharging our welder and that little miner. So our turbine, solar power, or solar panels should be doing pretty good. And yeah, other than the welding rig welding up a little bit more, we did try to make some kind of hover bike, and it was like a tandem hover bike so that I could bring my camera person with me. But of course, we can't have nice things, and as we were going through the forest there, if it's called a forest, it kind of glitched out and clanged out where the hover engine flipped out when it touched near a tree. So it flipped the... So it tends to flip our bike and kind of cause a mess. And eventually it just crashed. And yeah, that was in time lapse. But so something, I guess... Yeah, I really guess we can't have nice things. And what I was planning to do with the hover engine or little hover bike was to travel to the IGCT station, which is our first station that we had, which was about 76 kilometers away. But since we broke our bike, didn't work out, I did bring this thing here and went to that station. And went to the station to see what they sold, see if they sold any platinum. Unfortunately, they don't. It was a component economy based station, so it didn't sell like ores or main type of items. So can't buy platinum in that station. And we can find another station, that'd be great. But if not, we probably could find some platinum in the moon, to be honest. And we don't really need platinum per se. but it'll be nice to have. So that could be eventually a thing we build for getting platinum, which would be probably a ship to the moon, just to kind of explore it. This whole rail system, as I'm looking at it, seems like it's going to be a very big problem getting towards the moon, because we are not very, very close to the moon. So once we get off the atmosphere, yeah, we're going to be completely off. So we're going to have to deal with that. And like I said before, it's probably going to be a station out there anyway. So we should be fine. Another issue that I'm kind of seeing here as well is, I did mention this at one point, we're a little too close to the ground. But look how close we gotten right over here. That's roughly 5 blocks towards the bottom. And then when we get here, it's going to get even worse. Which is going to be really, really close. That's about 5 blocks too. And to be honest, yes, I think it's 5 blocks. That was just a random guess. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5, 6 blocks. Close enough. But yeah, it's a little low because our rig is going to be something like this, but with hover engines. And the personal rig, or where the person stands or sits in transports, or pod, or whatever you want to call it, yeah, it's gonna be dangling down here. So we're definitely gonna have to drill this out a little bit and flatten it out. Probably not flatten out, but drill it out a little bit to make a little bit of spacing for it, which would be nice scenery, I guess. But then after that's done, it seems like we should be in the clear until we hit the mountains right there. But I hope by that time we're kind of be lifted up pretty high up anyways. So that's not going to be a significant issue. But yeah, we're going to run into issues with getting closer to the moon. So that's a problem we're going to have to deal with eventually. And I knew that was going to happen. But, I mean, I didn't want the station to be way, way too high up to get into it anyway. So there's that. I mean, if we could make the system diagonal. Well, I wouldn't say diagonal. If I can make the real system ascend, that'd be great. I might be able to get away with doing that. Doing something, maybe not this block, but a combination of the slope tip right here and this slope. Might be able to bring it up slightly with the hover engines. We could test it out, but I think that should bring us up a bit if we really, really need to get to that point. Although if we did something like that, we got to make sure to slow down before we get to that incline, because we are definitely going to crash right into it. So something to kind of experiment with. But I really think going straight would probably be our best bet anyways. But yeah, other than that, our welding rig, we updated it with our larger thrusters. So here's the sci-fi atmospheric thrusters here. We have to put 100 thrusters on this eventually. But for now, since we have atmosphere thrusters, we're perfectly fine. Alright, looks like we missed a few spots because there's some scrap in there. So let's just fix that up. And the welding rig is working out pretty well with the atmospheric thrusters. It does break the rail slightly once in a while, not too often because I'm moving it really, really slowly. I'm moving it with either override or I'm just tapping it as we're moving forward or backwards. I tend to move it backwards pretty quickly for whatever reasons. And it still works out okay. It's not too bad. So if I were to release everything and turn it on, you see here, the front is a little wiggly, which is a little dangerous. And then I could just keep tapping right here to go forward. Thruster override works okay, but the speed is not, what's it may call it, consistent. It slows down because it gets stuck a little bit, and then speeds up, slows down, gets stuck. It's very not consistent, and just keeping override on, you could hit 100 meters per second if you don't monitor it. But if I'm moving it up and down in terms of override, increase and decrease, I should say, you can control it a little bit better. But it does get stuck a little bit once in a while, and it causes some bits of problem. But once again, we got, I think, 3 more sections done. That's 300 length wise. So we're out of kind of like a large amount of steel tubes, I believe. Not steel tubes, steel plates. Still have a good chunk right there, but 2,000 or so. We had like 21,000 at one point. So it is a lot of steel plates that this thing needs to build. So I do need to do some inventory management so then we keep up a load of steel plates as we're going forward. But right now we are kind of waiting for materials to be produced and everything like that. And then we should be good to go for another few section. And we'll see how far we get from there. But I do need to solve for this projector issue. That every 100 or every piece I have to create a new projector and plug it in. But it's not too bad because the numbers stay fairly the same when we're talking about the projectors. So with the blueprint, we just got to do this here. -15 horizontal, 6 vertical, 22 offset, and 180 row. And then that makes it perfect. It would have been nice if the forward offset wasn't as crazy, because then we could have just pushed it forward and that would have worked fine. But because that didn't work out, it's something I have to deal with. One thing I could probably do, but I'm not certain if it is gonna blueprint correctly, where the back here is gonna be a start. I could chop off this section right over here once again, and then blueprint it, and hopefully it starts from here. And then we have a good few 1, 2, 3, I think 4, and up to 5 sections, so about 500 blocks forward. That is going to require a ton of materials to build out anyways. So we definitely need to continue to mine for resources and get as much material as possible, because this is going to be a long, drawn out process, to be honest. But it's still a fun one because I get to enjoy playing Space Engineers and continue to fix problems that I create for myself, like breaking my own hover bike. But yeah, stay tuned for more. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.